I have deleted this video 3 times. 3 times. I wrote the script, recorded the words, and held my finger over the upload button. 3 times, I chose silence. Not because the information was wrong. It is the end of the person you are allowed to be in public. The first time I deleted it, I told myself I was being smart. Protect your platform. Avoid the storm. There is no need to say the quiet part out loud. The second time, I told myself I was being kind. The message is too harsh. You can soften the edges, wrap the blade in silk so no one feels the cut. But the third time I sat in the silence after deleting it, I understood what was really happening. I was not afraid of being wrong. I was terrified of being right asterisk, and being punished for it, because there are truths about female nature that our society has declared unspeakable, not because they are false, but because they are devastating to the beautiful, comfortable narrative we have all been sold. So, I hesitated. I rewrote. I buried the sharp, surgical truth under layers of diplomatic language, and every single time, it felt like a betrayal. Not of you, but of reality itself. Because a man who sees the truth clearly and chooses to look away is not wise. He is a coward with good optics. So aerate is the video I deleted 3 times. The one about female nature, about hypergamy, about strategic behavior, and about why everything you were taught about women was designed not to educate you, but to keep you blind. This will make you uncomfortable. Some of you will hear the word misogyny echo in your mind. Some will decide I am bitter. Some will accuse me of generalizing. Fine, let them, because by the time we are finished, you will understand. You will understand why your relationships have failed in the exact way they did, why attraction behaves like a current you can never quite grasp, why your kindness, your niceness, your desperate desire to be good has so often repelled the very thing you sought. This is not a video about hating women. This is a video about seeing them clearly. Let us begin with the foundational lie, the one you have swallowed since you were a boy. The lie that women are less calculating than men, that they are more emotional, more authentic, more pure of heart, that they operate from a place of feeling, while men operate from a place of strategy, that they value connection, while men value conquest. This is the official story, and it is complete, elegant, beautiful fiction. Women are not less strategic than men. They are more strategic. They have had to be, while men compete through visible, direct power, through physical strength, through wealth, through status, through overt aggression. Women have evolved to compete through invisible, indirect power, through social manipulation, through emotional influence, through the quiet, relentless calculus of sexual selection. Through the management of reputation, Machiavelli wrote of 2 kinds of power, the lion and the fox. The lion uses force, the fox uses cunning. Men are taught, from the playground to the boardroom, to be lions. Women are born foxes. And the most devastatingly effective strategy a fox has is to convince everyone in the forest, especially the lions, that she is not playing a game at all. That she is just existing, just feeling, just being her authentic self. This is why women are called emotional. Not because they feel more deeply than you do, but because emotion is their primary weapon. It is their leverage. A woman cries, and a man's fortress of logic turns to sand. She withdraws her affection, and he scrambles to fix a problem he cannot name. She expresses disappointment, and he rewrites his own behavior to earn back the warmth he has lost. Every emotion is a communication. Every communication is a negotiation. Every display of vulnerability is a strategy wrapped so tightly in the appearance of authenticity that she often believes it herself. She is not, in most cases, a conscious manipulator. She is an instinctive operator. Her strategies are refined over thousands of generations of survival. They are baked into her biology. You were taught that women are innocent, that they are less corrupt, somehow morally superior by nature. This is the lie that keeps you controlled, because if you believe she is pure, you will never see the game. And if you never see the game, you will keep losing it, over and over, and blaming yourself for not being good enough. Women are not innocent. They are strategic, and the sooner you accept this, the sooner you stop being a pawn on her board. Now, let us talk about the word no one wants you to understand. Hypergamy. It is simple. It is biological. It is uncomfortable. Hypergamy is the instinct, wired deep into the female psyche, to seek the best mate available. Not a good mate, the best, and best is measured in a cold, hard currency. Resources, status, genetics, demonstrated dominance. The man who can provide the most security, the highest social position, the strongest potential offspring, the most reliable protection. This is not evil. It is not conscious. Malazit is it is the engine of human evolution. But here is where it gets deeply, personally uncomfortable for you. Best is not an absolute measure. It is a relative one. A woman does not choose you based on your objective value. She chooses you based on your value. Asterisk, relative to her other options. Asterisk. This means her attraction to you is not fixed. It is not unconditional. It is fluid. It fluctuates based on who else is in her orbit, who else she has access to, who else she perceives as higher value than you. You can be enough today and be not enough tomorrow. Not because you changed, but because her landscape of options changed. Because she met someone, because her perception of the social hierarchy shifted. This is why working on the relationship often fails when she has already checked out. The issue is not effort. The issue is hierarchy. If she perceives you as the best available option, she stays. She invests. She loves. The moment she perceives someone else as a better option, she begins the exit process, emotionally first, physically later. Our modern society dresses this in empowering language. Strip away the language, and you see the mechanism. Constant, unconscious evaluation. Constant comparison, a perpetual biological readiness to upgrade. This does not mean all women are cheaters. It means all women are aware of options. And that awareness is the seed of all strategic behavior. The woman who says, "I don't look at other men," is lying to you, or she is lying to herself. She looks, she evaluates, she files the information away, and if the math of her options changes, the math of her loyalty changes with it. Machiavelli would call this rational The prince who ignores threats because he doesn't want them to exist is the prince who is over. The man who ignores hypergamy because he wants to believe his woman is different is the man who ends up blindsided. You can call this cynical. I call it realism. The woman who loves you today may not love you tomorrow. Not because love is fake, but because female love is conditional upon your continued relative value. Now, let us examine the toolbox. Emotion as a control mechanism. You have been told women are more emotional. That their tears, their anger, their joy are purer, deeper, more authentic expressions of an inner truth. They are not. Emotion, in the hands of a creature evolved to wield indirect power, is a weapon, and women have been master blacksmiths of this weapon for millennia. A woman cries not as a conscious act of manipulation, but because her biology knows that tears dissolve male logic. They shift the frame from a discussion of facts to a drama of emotional rescue. They turn the perceived aggressor into the comforter. A woman withdraws affection and presence, not always because she is hurt, but because withdrawal creates scarcity. Scarcity triggers pursuit. The man who was complacent yesterday is now anxious today, trying to restore the balance she disrupted. A woman expresses disappointment, not always to communicate a specific, fixable issue, but to generate guilt. And guilt is one of the most powerful levers of control a human being has. A man feeling guilty will erode his own boundaries to prove he is not the villain her disappointment implies he is. This is not a conscious conspiracy. It is an evolutionary adaptation over countless generations. The women who could most effectively influence male behavior through emotional display gained better resources, better protection, better investment for their children. They survived. They thrived. They passed on these instincts. So no, she is not lying when she cries. She feels it, but the feeling is functional. It serves a purpose. It moves power in her direction, and the man who responds to every emotional display as if it is a sacred, unquestionable truth is not being a good partner. He is being controlled, and he is volunteering for the role. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must learn to be both loved and feared, but if he cannot be both, it is far safer to be feared. Why? Because love is emotional. Emotions shift with the wind, with perception, with new options. But respect built on clear boundaries and consistent consequences is structural. It does not rely on how she feels in a given moment. It relies on what she knows will happen if a line is crossed. The man who has no boundaries because he is terrified of her emotional reactions is not a loving partner. He is a hostage, negotiating the terms of his own captivity. The man who sets boundaries and holds them, even when it makes her upset, is not cruel. He is sovereign. And sovereignty is what women claim to want, but often resent when they actually encounter it. Because sovereignty resists control, and every human being, man or woman, instinctively prefers a relationship where they hold the leverage. This is the unspeakable truth. Not that women are evil, but that they are strategic, and strategy, by its nature, involves influence, leverage, and the management of power. The question is not whether this is happening. Now, we must talk about the gaslight. You have felt it. You know the shape of this confusion. You point out a pattern in her behavior. A test? A manipulation? A strategic withdrawal? And what happens? She denies it happened, or most effectively, she turns it back on you. You're too sensitive. You're overthinking. You're insecure. You're being controlling. This is not accidental misunderstanding. This is defense, because the moment you begin to see her behavior clearly, to see the game behind the gesture, you become dangerous to the dynamic. A man who sees the game cannot be played as easily. So the game adapts. It attacks your perception. It tells you that you are the problem, that your vision is distorted, that your reality is wrong, and society, modern therapy, culture, and popular media are her reinforcements. They echo the message. Men need to be more emotionally available, more vulnerable, more willing to accept blame. De Result, a generation of men who doubt their own lived experience, who apologize for things they did not do, who silently rewrite their own reality to fit her narrative, because the cost of clarity is isolation and accusation. Machiavelli knew this game well. He called it the management of perception. He who controls the narrative controls the kingdom. In the kingdom of a relationship, whoever controls the narrative controls the frame, and the frame dictates who has power. When she says, "You're too sensitive," she often means, "Your boundaries are an inconvenience to me." When Cecil, "You're insecure," she may be deflecting from the uncomfortable fact that your instincts are precisely correct. This does not mean every woman is malicious. It means every woman to a some degree operates within this biological and strategic framework. And that framework includes defense mechanisms designed to protect her strategic position. The gaslight is not necessarily cruelty. It is often self-preservation. But your clarity is your self-preservation. And the two are often incompatible. So, you have a choice. A real one. You can believe her narrative and keep the peace. Or you can trust your own perception and keep your sovereignty. You cannot have both. Let me finish with the core, stabilizing truth. Women are not your enemy, but they are not your automatic ally either. They are players in the same ancient, high-stakes game you are in. Their strategy is simply different from yours. Men compete to build resources and status to attract women. Women compete for access to the men who have built the most. Neither is morally wrong. This is the dance of nature. But pretending the competition does not exist, that is not virtue. That is delusion. And delusion is the quickest path to personal destruction. Here is the practical, daily reality. The moment you stop being her best available option in perception, or in fact the fundamental nature of the relationship changes. It may not end immediately, but she becomes less cooperative, more critical, more distant, more observant of other men. This is not her being cruel. This is her biology, her unconscious mind, reassessing the investment. If the answer shifts, her behavior shifts with it. You can try to logic with her. You can communicate better. It will not work if the core issue is hierarchy, if the issue is your relative rank. This is why Machiavelli's prince needed both love and fear. It floats on the shifting sea of emotion and perception, but respect built on the solid ground of your own boundaries, your own standards, and your demonstrable willingness to walk away if those standards are breached. That is structural. That is real. The woman who knows you will leave if she crosses certain lines behaves fundamentally differently from the woman who knows you will stay no matter what. This does not mean be abusive. It means be sovereign. Have a core, enforce boundaries. Be willing to walk away not as a punishment, but as the ultimate expression of self-respect. The man who cannot walk away is a man who has no power, because power, in the end, is always the ability to say no. And a woman who knows you cannot say no will eventually, inevitably, test every boundary you have until she finds your spine, or until she discovers you do not have one and leaves anyway. That attraction is strategic. That relationships are complex negotiations of power and value, not fairy tales of cosmic connection. And no one wants to hear that. But reality does not care what we want to believe. But I am putting it back. Not to create hate, to grant sight, the ability to see women as they are, not as you have been told to wish they were, to understand their nature, their strategies, their biological imperatives, not so you can control them, but so you can finally stop being controlled by your own delusions about them. Women are not innocent. They are not perpetual victims. They are not morally superior beings. They are strategic. They are capable. They are operating within the same framework of self-interest that governs all human behavior. It makes you a blind one. So here is what I am asking you to do. Stop defending the beautiful illusion. Stop sacrificing your hard-won clarity on the altar of someone else's comfort. See her clearly, not with hatred, but with the sober, unblinking realism of a general surveying a battlefield. Understand that her love is conditional upon your sustained value, that her loyalty is contingent upon her landscape of options, that her emotions, however deeply felt, also function as tools in the negotiation of your shared life. And once you see it, do not be angry. Be strategic. Build yourself into the man who is always the best option, not just in wealth, but in character, in purpose, in unshakable sovereignty. Maintain your value. Set your boundaries. Keep your core. Because the only way to navigate the game successfully is to first admit, with clear eyes and a steady heart, that you are already in it. And now, you know.